Hi, everybody, and welcome to a quiet track here at Kansas Speedway. My name is Danny Peters, and this is Captain Dalton Hopkins.
Howdy. How you doing?
A really thrilling race weekend here. Let's start with today's winner, Chase Elliott's second victory of the season, 21st of his career. Let's talk to me a little bit about Chase's win.
Yeah, I think this was one that many knew was going to happen soon, but we didn't really know where. And why not at a track where he's probably his best 1.5 mile track that he's got on the whole circuit. So it's a big win for him, locks him to the round of 8. Been struggling a little bit the last few months, and it kind of shuts up a lot of people who were probably asking, when are you going to win again? And here he is, coming back and getting that second win finally, so he can get that monkey off his back, goes into the round of 8 where he's got Las Vegas, Talladega, and then Martinsville. Yes, thank you, Martinsville. 3 tracks that he has performed well in the past. But that wasn't the full story.
That was definitely not the full story of the day. It looked for all the world like Denny Hamlin was going to pick up his milestone 60th victory. He swept both stages. He led a lot of laps, and with 20 laps to go, he was a second clear of Bell, who was strong all day as well. And it looked as if it was going to be Hamlin's victory, but then a late caution, and the chaos ensued.
Yeah, yeah. Talk about chaos. A late caution, like you mentioned, and it brought out precautions breed cautions, and that's what we saw. We saw one caution with, I think it was 15 laps to go, if I'm not mistaken, and then we saw 2 more overtime restarts as well at Kansas, which made this the second longest Kansas race in history, short only by 6 miles. So, yes, a lot of chaos, and that, of course, bred what was the chaotic final lap between Bubba Wallace and Denny Hamlin.
You know, before we go there, we should just take a minute because you spoke to him after his incident, but a wild incident for Zane Smith. So you talked to him after he came out of the care center. Talk a little bit about that incident.
Yeah, caught up with Zane Smith after his incident. He was literally 90 degrees riding the wall through turns 3 and 4 and finally flipped over and came to a rest right around there where I'm pointing, not too far from us, so on the front stretch. So he said it was the first time he's ever flipped in a stock car. So put that in his resume. I caught up with him after that incident at the care center. You can go check out that video on frontstretch.com. I believe we also have an article up right now on it too, so you can go read more about that, how that all happened, who was all involved, and read about some of the quotes he told us after he's out of the care center. Of course, walking around, so it seems like he's okay.
But then that final restart when, I mean, who knows who was going to win, but it looked like Bubba was going to win. It looked like Denny was going to win. It looked like Chase was, and then Chase did win. But talk us a little bit through that really wild and chaotic last overtime green white checkered finish.
With I think it was the second to last restart, or the third to last restart was with about 8 laps to go, if I'm not mistaken. And I honestly thought Bubba Wallace was going to win this race. He was ahead of, he was side by side with Christopher Bell, and I really thought that he was going to maybe photo finish it and beat Christopher Bell to the line at the end. Didn't work out that way. 2 overtime restarts afterward, and it came down to that last lap, which saw Bubba clear Christopher Bell, but the problem was so did Denny Hamlin, who was the dominant car all night long. Led 159 laps out of the 271 ran. 271 ran. So it was a very, very dominant day for Denny. Again, like you said, chasing his 60th win, something that he's been trying to do for years now. So he gets alongside Bubba Wallace in the last lap on the back stretch, sails it on in, and then it gets tight, and they both go into the wall. Chase Elliott drives by and goes on and takes the win in the last lap of the race. Now, before people start getting angry about that, which there are already plenty of people angry about that, Denny was complaining about power steering. He did have a power steering failure with about 50 laps to go. He had to deal with that. He had to deal with that for that entire time. The man was obviously fatigued, but sent it on in the corner underneath Bubba, got tight, both hit the wall. Bubba's upset. You can check out his reaction and Denny Hamlin's reaction on Frontstretch.com's YouTube page and read about it on an article we just put out.
And worth noting that Bubba did come up to Denny in the media bullpen after the race and gave him, I guess we'll call it a hug that he gave him. So
A bro hug?
a bro hug.
Yeah, I think it, yeah.
Another thing I think today, just worth noting as we wrap up, kind of talking about the Cup race, was SVG recording his first ever top 10 on an oval. In his 45th Cup start, and you also caught up with SVG afterwards, and he talked a little bit about the process of getting there.
Yeah, I told him, I said, finally, it's a top 10. He goes, I don't know about finally. He said, it's a process. And he said, and I guess I shouldn't actually repeat exactly what he said because he sweared a little bit, but he said, this blank's hard or this blank's difficult. And it is. It's a whole process for him of learning time after time of how to get better. But you know what? We've seen him get better. He has been getting better. Look, think about New Hampshire last week. He was running in the top 10 at New Hampshire until he got caught up in that crash, and then he gets a top 10 today. He was 2 laps down in dead last in stage 1. Came back and finished 10th. I talked about it. He's on Frontstretch's YouTube page as well. You can go check that out.
And lost his crew chief and had a stop-go penalty.
Yes.
Everything happened to him today, and finished with a really encouraging top 10. But Cup race wasn't the only thing that happened here at Kansas Speedway this weekend. We also had the ARCA and the Xfinity races. Let's maybe start with the ARCA race on Friday night.
Yeah, Butterbean. All Butterbean, all the time. Butterbean gets another win, beats Gio Ruggiero, who had the dominant race, who had the more dominant card that night. But Butterbean ends up getting the win, again, his 8th of the year, and all but clinches the ARCA title. I think it was the ARCA media director.
So he just had to turn up next week and start his engine, basically.
Yeah, I think he said all he had to do was show up next week at Toledo, and that's it. And he wins the title. So.
And you had a great question for him about how he celebrates at Waffle House and what he would do if he won the championship.
Yeah, I think he said he's going to eat double the amount of waffles. I don't really know. I think it was just kind of like, I don't know, I haven't really thought about it, so here's an answer. But obviously that team has worked very hard and got to celebrate another interesting moment the very next day.
Yeah, with a great finish in the Xfinity Series race, finished ninth. Ninth. I was going to say 7th, but you're better at stats than me, and neither of us are better than Steven Stumpf. But
nobody is.
Another dominant day for a Joe Gibbs racing car. Brandon Jones winning and locking himself into the next round.
I don't know what it is about Toyota in this track, but they've got it. They've got it on lock. I know they didn't win today, but they had the dominant. They were dominant. I mean, they had 5 cars in the top 5 on the last restart. They still didn't win, but I mean, it was a chaotic restart, so we'll give them a pass. But Brandon Jones, yesterday in the Xfinity race, I don't think I've ever seen Brandon Jones with that much speed and that well of a performance. I mean, that's incredible for him. He did a fantastic job yesterday, dominates that whole race, ends up winning as well, and now he's also going into the round of 8 as we head into the Charlotte Roval next week.
And just one more thought on Brandon Jones in the press conference in the media center afterwards. He talked about being a veteran, and he talked about the leadership that he brings to that program, and really wanting to get that title won for coach. And he's still in the running, and if he has more days like he had yesterday, who knows what could happen.
It's really unfair because sometimes I kind of forget that Brandon Jones is there, but he's not just there. He's good. He's competitive. I feel bad. I really do. But he's also a great person. He's also a great human being. I feel like he's very polite, and he does bring a lot of leadership to that team, which is really full of, I'm going to sound old here, but of youngsters that are in that team.
Well, between the two of us, you are definitely not the old ones. So, but as you said, next week it's back home for NASCAR and the Roval, and for the Cup Series, it will be the final race in the round of 12.
Yeah, going into the Roval next week, and here's the problem. If you're below the cut line, which, by the way, Ross Chastain is 9th in the standings right now, so he's right below the cut line. He's 13 points below the cut line. Not terrible, but not great either. That's a difficult thing to overcome. And then everyone else, Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, a lot happening with him today. Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, and Austin Cindric all even further below that. So they have a huge cushion they're going to have to overcome at the Roval. And even worse, we all know who's going to win at the Roval.
And who might that be?
It's going to be Shane Van Gisbergen.
For a fifth victory as a rookie, a record, a further record.
Already a record, yeah, and he's just gonna extend. I think he's gonna extend that record. I don't look. He might not. Who knows? AJ Allmendinger's pretty good there too. But my point being is that those guys that are in must wins, guys like Tyler Reddick, guys like kind of Bubba Wallace, who isn't really, but he's close. Guys like Austin Cindric, like that. You might be out of luck because you're gonna have to beat him.
And it's also a hard track because you can't score a lot of stage points and score a good finish, you know, just the nature of that race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're going to have to pit. You're going to have to choose one stage to pit before. That's how the road course racing has worked, unless some wild cautions occur, which is possible. But look, the Roval's a wild card. People consider it a wild card, and I don't know. It could also be somebody above the cut line has a bad race. Joey Logano did not have a good race today. Maybe he goes into next week and has a bad race, and we see him get overtaken in the points.
Well, it really was a thrilling weekend for us here at Kansas Speedway. Dalton and myself have enjoyed it a lot. You can check out our content on frontstretch.com, on our YouTube page, on our Facebook page, on our Twitter feed, on our, 19 other different forms of social media.
All of them, yes.
Final
thought. Kansas, you did it again. I love this track. Dare I say it, maybe the best on the calendar.
After today's race, it would be hard to argue with that.
You want me to sign us off?
Yeah, sign us off.
I'm Dalton Hopkins with Frontstretch.com. This is Danny Peters, the one and only lovely Danny Peters.
Lovely, thank you.
And we hope to see you next week at the Roval for more of our coverage.
My Place Hotels is proud to be the official hotel partner of Frontstretch. With plush beds, in-room kitchens, and pet-friendly hotels, My Place makes for the perfect pit stop when traveling. Frontstretch fans can use promo code FRONTSTRETCH to save 10% on your stay at any of our nationwide properties. Sign up for our Stay Rewarded program to get even more savings. With My Place Hotels, don't just stay rewarded.
I'm Caleb Barnes with Frontstretch.com. Come back soon for more great racing videos, and if you like us, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.